This is video 2. So the Raspberry Pis have been set up. This is pretty much the point we're going to get to at the end of this video. So you can decide if you want to skip it or you want to be interested in it. So we're going to, I think you've seen in the last video, the green lines, the grey lines. We connected the SSH to both of them, so from iTerm on the Mac. We curled a llama on the pink line. Again, it was going through SSH, but I did a different colour because that'll change. And the green line is we curled through SSH that we are hello world, but by the end we'll get the LLM to make a better website, and we'll load that into Nginx, and then we'll use the browser. So it all goes well. So this is what happens in this video. So we've got both Raspberry Pis are built with Ubuntu. That's what you've seen at the end of the first lesson. And this time we update them, upgrade them. So it's just patching them. We disable the firewall to stop it getting in the way. We disable the app armor in case it gets in the way. And then the swap files means if the machine runs out of memory, it crashes rather than trying a page and go even slower than usual. But that's just the way of configuring the VMs as well. And we've got the two Raspberry Pis built. So what we're going to do is we're going to run these commands on them. So we're going to update them, upgrade them, turn off the firewall, stop app armor, stop the swap memory. So that means if they run out of memory, they don't page to the disk in the SD card. It just means they crash. So we'll just run each of these commands on each of the boxes. And normally when you see me do the VMs, I don't bother doing the upgrade because they only last for about an hour. Whereas these ones will last at least the weekend, and if I know we need to patch it if we want access to Podman. So let's kick that off. Okay, the next command. And these worked on the Ubuntu 2024 version. Let's see if they work in the 2025 version. Because I've never used this operating system before. All the VMs are built in last year's one rather than this year's one. But looks probably pretty good. And we can, let's see. Let's see if it needs a rebooter in, or we just get away with updating it. If this takes a while, I'll just pause the video and I'll come back. Oh, cool, that was fast. And let's see if this works. The firewall stopped. This one's just a few minutes behind. Okay, firewall stopped. Let's see if we can do this in a one-liner. Is that far too ambitious? There we go. Tremendous. Okay, and we will go and install the LLM just. Okay, so this slide's slightly out of sequence. We had a lot of retries trying to get Llama working. When we set the Llama version to version 10, which is not the current version, it's a pre-release one, everything worked fine. And something at Llama's end. So what we do is we modify the one file. We built it, and then you'll see I've got it in a sequence. So that llama.service, that's the default one. there's a line called environment equals Llama host 0.0.0.0, and that means instead of just listening localhost like it's expecting, this listens to the NIC, which means we can call it from the Mac or from the either Pi. So that's the one line, but you'll see the next couple of videos. They've still got it at the 127.0.0.1, which is the internal interface. And then once it's installed, we just stop and reload it to pick up the change of address it's listening on. Anticipated. When the install, as you've seen for Llama, kept failing consistently. I thought it was disk space running out in the Raspberry Pi. Turned out it wasn't that. So I downloaded it on the Mac. It would fail on the Mac. Interestingly, it would fail at a different point. Tried downloading it from GitHub. Again, it would fail at different points. So what we've done is we started going for specific versions. So I think 0.9.5 is the current version. So we've gone for a pre-release version. So it's installed successfully according to the messages. So we'll get on and experiment with this one. Thanks very much. So what we do next is we install on the Pi 5 LLM. We've got a Llama installed, so we install the DeepSeek R1, the 7 billion model one. With the Raspberry Pi, we're fighting for memory the whole time, and that's part of the fun. So we might decide that for real life, instead of running the LLM on the Raspberry Pi, we might call out and pay ChatGPT or Claude or one of the others. But this weekend was fun to see if we can get it running. So we do use a smaller one for the majority of the time. We use a Gemma one at 2 billion and a DeepSeek at 1.5 billion. But the 7 billion one does work. It does use 75% of the memory. So that's 6 gig running. Llamas installed successfully. I've been a bit ambitious. Normally I run the 1.5 billion, but I've gone for the 7 billion. And that's going to run slower, but it should have much more intelligence, so it should be able to do things deeper. So it's installed. It took about 20 minutes to install, and it's obviously working because I've done Tell Me a Joke. But what I have done, I have made a mistake because it's running on 127.0.0.1, so it's just answering to this machine. So we want it on the network, but yeah, it's good. It's detected there's no NVIDIA or GPU, so it's running CPU mode, but it has told them there's a joke. I can't remember how to get it. Is it exit? Is it quit? Oh, it is exit, right. Okay, so on the other box we install Podman. Podman's the same as Docker, but it's no license implications. So all we do is we set up the Docker group. Don't know if we needed to or not. We deviate over the weekend and we start using sudo anyway. So we install Podman and we install Podman Compose. So Podman Compose is the orchestration add-on for Podman. With a Llama, let's have a look at the commands that we can use to install Podman. So I don't know if we still need the Docker group for Podman, but we'll put it in anyway. This allows you to run it as yourself rather than using root. And we'll just install Podman, install Podman Compose, and make a directory for our website. So let's run that, as you can, and see what happens. So that looks good. Looks like it's installing Docker. Sorry, Podman. We're using Podman. Podman's like Docker, pretty much the same, but there's no licensing issues and things like that. So it should be all good. And then what we've got to do is we've got to copy a couple of files onto the box. That's fast. I was about to stop it, but you can see it all going on pretty fast. Let's see what we do. So Docker Compose going on. Perfect. So that's good. Alright, so what we've got inside this is escape. LS. So we've got a couple of files, sort of a cat index. It's just a web page. It's the worst web page I've ever seen, but it does. And we'll compare cat composes. So this is a very simple Docker Compose file, or Podman Compose, as you can see. The difference between Docker Compose and Podman Composed is you must have the fully qualified image name if you're using Podman. Okay, so I realise there's a couple of things that may be new to you, but there's videos on this channel that describe everything in a much slower pace. It's just this weekend I had the target of trying to get Agentic AI on 2 Raspberry Pis, and I was trying to A, build it, B, document it, and then C, try to video it as well. So if there's anything that you feel is a bit rushed and you want to go back, there's plenty of videos detailing exactly on it and what we do. So to make the website, we make a home directory. You've seen it. The HTML file just says hello world. It's just a text file, but it does display. The file on the right is the Podman Compose file. It's the same as it would work in Docker Compose as well. So let's see what happens. So you can see we've got index.html. So let's make an index.html. Index.html. Compose.yaml. Then let's get the contents of that. Stick it in. And then from the commands, so it's not Oddman, it's Podman. Right, let's see if we can start up this first time. So that's a good sign. It's at least is trying to get the Nginx container. So that shows you Podman's installed and working, and Podman Compose is installed and working from the very simple file. So let's see if we can get a web server up on here. I'll wait for it to go in the wares. Okay, so we can see we've got pod star called Allen Nginx 1. Okay, so again, this is slightly out of sequence, but what's the fun doing an AI video if we don't actually get the AI to make the web page? So I thought we'd replay about it. I actually used Gemma from Google, and we decided to see if it could build a better web page than my Hello World one. So this is the next step. Apologies for the background noise. I'm still in the caravan recording this. I'm running DeepSeek with the 7 billion one, and it was too slow for most things, so we just went for the 1.5. We installed that, and while I was here, I decided that I wanted to try installing Google's Gemma 3N E2B, so it's about 2 billion parameter one, and I thought I would install it. So we can see it pulled it down in success. So I gave it a prompt that is a marketing agency. Please create a professional web page, just called Agentic AI and a Raspberry Pi, and we'll stick that on the Nginx container. So it went and it gave a lot of output. I'm not showing it in real time, obviously, because it was slower. And then I asked it to actually more detail, so it gave us a plan for the website and tools, and then I asked it for to supply us a zip file. It didn't supply us a zip file, but it has given us index HTML, which I'll cut out and put in. It's given us it's built a web page. We wouldn't download it as a zip, but it's a start, and there's a cascaded style sheet for it. And then it has suggested a bunch of images that we need to obtain. We might even see if it can create these images itself in a wee minute. But yeah, it all looks good. So we've got to this stage, so I just wanted to record this before I delete it. But thanks for that. And here is the web page it made when you cut and paste it. So obviously I did into the pod for the HTML page. I just replaced the HTML and the style sheet, and it's a pretty website. It does. It's done a great job. Yeah, thanks for watching this video. And here's the last slide. So what we've done is from the start we actually changed. So instead of using iTerm to do a curl, we're actually using the browser to curl to the pod, and that's why we get the nice pretty web page. So that's a green line. It's switched from Safari rather than Terminal. We've put the port numbers on in purple. So SSH is on port 22. Nginx is running on 8080. We have to shift it because it clashes with something in one of the subsequent videos. And on the left hand box, the LLM Alam is on 11434, and it's got 3 models in it just now. So there's a DeepSeek 7 billion, which was the ambitious one. It's a bit tight for a Raspberry Pi if it's doing other functions. So we had the DeepSeek 1.5 billion, which works fine in the Raspberry Pi, and the Gemini 2 billion one worked fine as well. So I think that was quite successful. Obviously the harder agentic stuff's coming in one of the next 2 videos, but you did see an LLM generate a web page and then run on the other server. So hope you found that interesting. And again, thank you very much. Oh, and here's the 2 machines without the Mac. The diagrams are going to get too complicated with the Mac. I figured everyone getting this stage doesn't need to know the client. The iTerm will be for SSH, and Safari will be for the browser. I don't think we use any other tools on the Mac or the client for the other 2 videos neither. So it's all good. Thank you.